We've broken through in the right spot!
Quiet.
Stand ready. He killed Vanamar.
And many other mages. I know who he is, Cynthia.
In the same city as Philippa, and you didn't even bother to change your name. That takes balls.
Philippa's out of the picture. She's been arrested.
And I was supposed to die, but I didn't. Grave error.
I'll make you a deal.
Any deals we make will not be on your terms.
Hear me out.
So be it.
Witcher, help me complete my mission. Help me open Der Henner's laboratory.
What'll you give me?
I've read the intelligence reports. I know your past. There are things in there, important things you don't remember.
I could force you to tell me.
I don't think so. Will you torture me? We both know you couldn't.
Fine. I'll help you open the laboratory.
In exchange, I'll tell you all I can. Do we have a deal?
Yeah. One more thing.
We made a deal.
I'm even faster with my sword. No tricks.
Are we likely to encounter drowners? Or a related species? Perhaps other monsters?
That is how this world's built. Sewers are infested with monsters.
Everything seems to be going well. So far.
The tombstones are arranged in a manner
If only we
typical
could
of
produce
elven
even basic
necropolises.
sketches of those tombs. Damn shame. Ghouls? No.
I'm impressed.
I've kept my end of the bargain. I hope you'll prove yours.
Be sure of it.
And no rats that run around sewers. What we're looking for, anyway? Some graves, I heard.
Graves? So maybe there is something in this for us.
Shut your traps. Want the sergeant to hear? We've been deep shite. But it is a good idea.
We've got company.
Redanian bastards.
The entrance must be somewhere here.
If our experts are to be trusted.
Dehenna dabbled in illusions, among other things.
He also experimented heavily with golems.
Golems with the power of speech, supposedly. They knew nothing of poetry, but...
Will you two shut up?
Yes, it's an illusion. I found a weak spot. Stand back. Later, Elorn. Lisa Elorn. Later, dear!
At times I'm caught. You can get my kind of feat. Though I have no needles, they say I am piercing. What am I?
Careful with the answer. It could be a trap.
Typical of Dehenna. He was a genius with a penchant for mischievous jokes, like a child.
So a couple of adults, purported experts, should have no problem solving this.
Indeed, it's trivial. The answer is pain.
Incorrect.
No! Impossible! So many years of research together. Why did we ever embark on this? Imagine the books, the potions.
We must go on.
Oh, friend.
Let's get this over with quickly.
Capable of kindness and cruelty, I take victims when I sour. I can be on your side or wrong you. I bring gifts though you already have me.
Fate.
Correct.
It's going rather well so far.
Not for everybody. Someone's been here recently.
The competition's here. Kill them!
Descended straight from their quarter.
Let a Northling.
Another guardian. Later Elorn. Lisa Elorn. Later dear. It's reacting to my spell. Too bad about Gaspar.
I expected a greater challenge. Thus far, we've had but riddles fit for beer enthusiasts.
I persuaded Gaspar to pursue all this.
A group of travelers wandering through the dark. 3 guides above them, so 3 were marked. At night they trailed a drake serpentine and a silver lady shining and fine. If only her visage she would deign to unfold. By day they followed a mountain vault, its riches untold.
Did I hear someone complain about the riddles being too easy?
Let's think this through. There are 9 alcoves, a fresco in each. That's 3 groups of 3 frescoes.
The riddle mentions 3 guides above the travelers. We must examine the frescoes, seek answers there.
I'll advise you about the riddle, but I will not take part in disarming the device. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I wager we have a few more of Der Henna surprises for unwanted visitors ahead.
A group of travelers wandering through the dark. 3 guides above them, so 3 were marked. At night they trailed a drake serpentine.
What do you think of the first verse?
I would say it describes a serpentine dragon swallowing its own tail, which represents infinity and thus time. The hourglass likewise symbolizes time. In this case, the time of the traveller's journey.
I believe it's the Dragon constellation. It would be visible at night. What's more, sources on alchemy invariably portray dragons as winged, and as an accomplished alchemist, Gehenna would also be a competent astrologer. The verse must refer to the constellation.
In alchemy, the winged serpentine dragon represents prime matter, an essential component in the process of alchemical transformation. The verse seems to indicate the allegory illustrating that transformation.
It should be the Dragon constellation.
I shall take that one.
What do you think of the second verse?
To my mind, it speaks of the white rose, symbol of the Order of the Flaming Rose. You see, the fresco itself resembles a coat of arms, and in heraldry, silver is rendered as white. So the Silver Lady and White Rose are one and the same.
I think it describes the full moon. In alchemy, the moon represents both silver as a metal and the feminine element.
The order remains largely unknown in the south, so the White Rose seems unlikely. Every Nilfgaardian, on the other hand, has heard of the Imperial Nausicaa Brigade, which has the Death's Head as its symbol. The brigade's name is female, and they say death follows the unit. So the Silver Lady could very well be Nausicaa or the Death's Head.
It must be the White Rose.
Allow me.
What do you say to the third verse?
It describes the precipice, the ravine amidst mountains. An ancient rule in alchemy states, as above, so below. The vault is the ravine into which the riches of the mountain flow.
We must read the third line literally. To me, it suggests the Mahakam Mountains and its mines, from which dwarves and gnomes extract many ores that are invaluable to alchemists. Those mountains are a vault in and of themselves.
The verse is not literal. In many legends, towers are in fact vaults, which the hero must penetrate in order to rescue an imprisoned princess or find a long-concealed magic item. The mountain vault is the tower.
The verse describes the tower, I'm sure. I'll stand next to that fresco. Let's see if we can solve this. Take your places.
Count me out. I want to live.
As you will. Try another combination.
Take that.
Too bad about Gaspar.
A group of travelers wandering through the dark. 3 guides above them, so 3 were marked. At night they trailed a drake serpentine and a silver lady shining and fine. If only her visage she would deign to unfold. By day they followed a mountain vault, its riches untold.
It should be the Dragon constellation.
I shall take that one.
I think it's the full moon.
Allow me.
The mine entrance in the mountainside. That seems logical. I'll stand next to that fresco. Let's see if we can solve this. Take your places.
Count me out. I want to live.
As you will.
Intruder detected.
No!
Our expedition has grown thin. Such a shame. I actually found those two amusing.
Shut up.
Of course, my lady.
A golem? So Darehenna's legend is true?
It is no more than an obedient machine created to follow orders and kill. Not unlike our Witcher.
So I guess we should get along famously.
You? What do you know about golems?
I don't run into them in every forest, but any good bestiary describes golems at length, and I've read more than my share of those.
Geralt, I'm not questioning your knowledge, but I should be the one to...
Actually, you are questioning my knowledge. Listen, I know what I'm doing. I'll try to get it to reveal the word that'll deactivate it, or I'll just mess with its head. Break the code.
So now we've got a burglar in our midst. Be my guest. Try.
My intentions are good.
As are mine. Know, however, that this may change.
Darehenna must have been pretty lonely if he gave you eloquence.
The Master made me a guardian. Nothing less, nothing more. And you, provided you stand there, are a guest.
So you're aware you're an automaton?
Do we really know who we are, where we came from, and where we are headed? Is human life predictable in that the cycle of birth and death ensnares it? Better than mine. When a human is born, he is obedient to his parents. Later, he listens to tutors, masters, corporals. Finally, he succumbs to the will of death.
And to think that Adalbert questioned Darehenna's mastery. Who, if anyone, is allowed to pass?
Darehenna, but he is dead. Also guests may pass, but I stop intruders.
Tell me more. Who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Is it not obvious? A guest keeps his distance, or knows the name word. An intruder is anyone who enters too far, attacks me, or otherwise interferes with my being.
Has anyone tried to enter before?
I recall no intruders. I do, however, remember guests who left after being warned.
When was that? What did you discuss?
I am a machine. My memory is limited.
You're far more self-aware than a typical golem. Can you make sovereign decisions?
The Master made me the way I am, because long discussions were to his liking. I can make decisions, within my program, of course.
So you decide who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Who else would? Guests chat innocuously, exerting no pressure. All others are intruders.
I have other questions. Do you remember your creator?
Of course. I was summoned into being by Master Dehenna. I abide by his will, by his power, by the necessity encased in my stone bowels.
Dehenna is dead.
His word, which animates me, lives on, as does his legacy, which I protect. Empires will rise and fall, rivers will shift their courses, but I will remain obedient to one master on my eternal watch.
Dehenna must have been an exceptional man. Can you tell me about him?
I guard everything that belonged to the master, including his privacy, which he valued highly. I can tell you nothing.
Can I ask you for the name word which brought you to life and which can deactivate you?
Do that, and I shall consider you an intruder.
I have other questions. Did your creator give you a name?
I'm called obedience and unyielding persistence. I am a guardian and the humblest of servants.
A golem's name is the word that gave it life, and that can take it away. You must have a name.
I own nothing. Everything belongs to my master. How could I divulge the name if I exist solely to protect my creator's property?
Powerful magic created you. Dehenna was a true master.
He is still, since his mastery survives.
As a conscious being, you must be lonely here.
You are wrong. The pain of the world, melancholy, lies within the domain of emotions and feelings. My thoughts are governed by pure logic, restricted by my program.
But you can learn. They say that a penchant for philosophy can only come from curiosity.
In my case, it comes from the will of the master, who liked to speak with me.
And do you feel a need to discuss?
I feel nothing. I just have that need.
Can we discuss the program that controls your behavior?
Of course not.
I have other questions. All right, I think I know how to get past this thing without a fight.
Burglar witchers, philosopher golems, an expedition replete with fascinating discoveries.
And terrible disappointments. Shut up, Adelbear. And you, Witcher, deal with that golem.
We know you exist by the will of your master, thanks to the name word he gave you.
That is true.
You were created to discern intruders from guests. You are to stop the former and greet the latter.
Intruders must be stopped.
Are you aware that intruders may seek to deceive you?
I have stone fists to defend myself against those armed with swords. I have my iron logic to defend against those armed with words.
But intruders could include sorcerers who alter reality. They could be illusionists or mere liars. What then is certain?
My existence is certain, as is my master's will.
Since only you and the Master's legacy exist for certain, everything else is doubtful. A malicious intruder could cloud your senses.
I am the Guardian. The Master prepared me for that.
He couldn't foresee everything, so he gave you a mind to compensate. You're much more conscious and intelligent than a Guardian needs to be. Your Master says, greet guests and stop intruders. That is certain, but everything else can be a lie. And you cannot allow yourself to attack guests. That would be against your Master's will.
Guests must be greeted, and intruders must be stopped. This is Diana's will. Are you a guest or an intruder?
Doesn't matter what I answer. Your senses deceive you. You can trust only your mind. You can't assume I'm a guest, because I may be an intruder. You can't assume I'm an intruder, because I may be a guest.
This is a contradiction. A paradox. The law of excluded middle.
We've done it. Penetrated Gehenna's laboratory.
Let's have a look. This is better than I'd hoped.
A great success for Nilfgaard, this mission.
Maybe you'll get that promotion.
Dad mentions some bacteria strains.
Can you feel that?
My medallion's vibrating.
Another masking illusion. I'll try to disperse it. Later and Lorn. Lisa and Lorn. Later, dear!
The device. What is it?
You've done your job. You'll be paid and...
Paid like the scholars were? They died once they were no longer useful.
They were never useful, but Cynthia insisted. Fortunately, they were so kind as to remove themselves without my help.
I'm not about to be that kind.
Adalbert, you know what you're to look for.
Yes, Ma'am.
It's a prototype megascope. I didn't know it had survived.
What's it do?
The artifact detects an emotional bond with a person. Its user need only focus on that person and the device will establish a connection.
Great tool for a spy.
Yes.
Time you fulfilled your end of the bargain. What do you know about my past?
You were a rider of the Wild Hunt. I read the reports.
Don't the Nilfgaardians have anything better to do than write reports about witchers?
Not about witchers. About you. You are the sole person to have been a member of the host, and survived.
I'd like to try out the device.
You realize that can only end badly.
Cut in again and I'll put you in my report. You may use it, but just once.
Giving state secrets away to a Nordling. Will you mention that in your report?
You're sure to be named a commander one day, Adalbert. But until that happens, be a good boy and do your job.
Article 22 of the Code is clear. Suspicion of treason is sufficient grounds to strip a commander of power. Article 1 of my personal code is equally clear. Traitors must be subjected to the most painful death possible.
Multiplication. Second year at the academy, all mages learn it.
I didn't expect you to take my side.
Well, Now, choose one person you wish to contact. After that, the artifact's mine.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't eavesdrop while I eavesdropped.
I shan't trouble you. I've a lot of work to do here.
Your fate is in your hands, sorceress.
My fate? You haven't asked a single question about me.
Yet it is all up to you. Your situation is a comfortable one. Do not squander your chance. So, wish to tell me anything?
I'm a sorceress, an advisor to the King of Temeria.
I believe we agreed you would speak only of things I do not know about.
I hope you learned something useful.
I'm just sorry I can't use the artifact a few more times.
Its power has been depleted.
I understand. Thanks anyway. Describes finding an important document about the Vrans. There are his notes about the city's history. There are his notes from a mutation procedure manual.
be!
Medallion's vibrating.
Constable John Natalis.
Interex John Natalis. He is regent.
You? Here? What are you doing here?
I worked awfully hard to see Philippa Eilhart in chains.
I doubt you'll be so witty once we're standing side by side on the scaffold.
Unlike you, I've done nothing that would get me hanged.
To them, you're a kingslayer. I assure you, Radovid's torturers will make you admit to anything, even intercourse with trolls.
Did you know from the start that Saskia was a dragon?
I had suspected she was not what she seemed to be for some time, though I did not learn the truth until she fell poisoned and I could examine her thoroughly.
I've seen the list of antidote ingredients. Not a word about the Rose of Remembrance.
Well, we all prefer to have loyal allies. The Rose of Remembrance is very powerful. Even as a she-dragon, Saskia could not resist my spell.
Why don't you summon her? You could use some help now.
Dimeritium blocks all magic, telepathy included.
Someone's coming.
Your Majesty.
I've waited long for this meeting. You left Redania so suddenly I had no chance to give you the send-off you so richly deserved.
Your Majesty, I fail to understand why I have been arrested. I've done nothing but serve Redania's interests, supporting the rebellion, undermining Henselt, risking my own reputation on your behalf.
I'm no longer the little boy who believed your every word.
Why do you do this, Radovid? I was there at your most trying hours. Without me, you would not be the man you are. I don't understand.
You understand very well. You conspired against my father Vizimir, and against me. The entire Redanian court once trembled in fear of Philippa Eilhart.
Untrue, sire. You must let me explain. What are your charges, Your Majesty?
Ambassador.
Triss Marigold was kind enough to compile a list of persons making up the secret society known as the Lodge of Sorceresses. Some Nilfgaardian sorceresses were members as well, but you need not be bothered with them, my lady.
Triss, you're mad!
The Lodge ordered Demaven killed. It ordered Foltest killed. I suspect you played a part in my father's death. And if I released you from the Dimeritium, you'd kill me too. You're finished, Eilhart. There will be a trial, due process, everything as it should be. But know that you shall not wriggle out of this. You shall be convicted of conspiracy, treason, and regicide. They'll rip your flesh from you in bits before they burn you at the stake. Throughout my childhood, I felt your cold stare on the back of my neck. When I issued orders, my subjects would search with their eyes for Philippa Eilhart's gesture of consent. The entire court at Tretogor looked on as you humiliated me. All Redania laughed behind my back. You taught me to look everyone in the eye. Forced them to lower their gaze, do you remember? A king must never show weakness, uncertainty, you said. I've mastered that skill. Yet there is one I could never force to submit. You. You've one chance to shorten your suffering. Admit to everything, here and now in the ambassador's presence. Look me in the eye and repent. Submit. As you wish. Torturer, put out those vile eyes.
You're making a grave error, sire.
We will talk again, witch. I refused to believe it when they told me Geralt of Rivia was in my dungeon. The Geralt I know wouldn't let himself be captured.
I was really hankering for a tour of your dungeon, sire.
What's so interesting about it?
The guests.
I apologize for the dismal company you're in, Witcher. Fortunately, Eilhart won't be with us much longer.
The Nilfgaardian ambassador mentioned an organization of sorceresses. Just so happens I'm interested in the plans of this lodge.
Those plans should interest no one, because the lodge will soon cease to exist. I've nothing against you personally, Witcher, but you've gone from being an uninvited guest to being an awkward witness.
I understand I'm in for an extended tour.
You certainly shan't leave here before the summit ends.
I'm flattered, sire, but you overestimate me if you think I could influence it in any way.
Politics is like a complicated puzzle. Every piece may prove useful, or equally useless, even harmful. A breakthrough awaits us here at Loch Muin, by my hand no less. This will be no second Thaned. Soon, everyone will learn what the Redanian king is capable of. You'll excuse me, but it's time for the summit.
Radovid is capable, but too young. He has yet to understand that only the dead remain truly silent. Because Redania is doing Nilfgaard a favor, I feel obliged to help the king in return.
What favor do you mean? You can tell me. Just like you said, the dead keep their secrets.
That's true, but I prefer to be cautious. I promise to reveal every last detail as soon as your body is cold. Pity you won't live to see it. Loch Muin's in for a huge surprise, both the mages and the kings.
Nobody likes others to decide for them. That's especially true of kings.
You're dangerous, Witcher, and too independent. In time, Radovid will thank me, and he won't be alone. Kill him, but beware his sorcery.
Hold him, Hart.
Get me out of here!
I need some answers first. Clock's ticking. Time is of the essence.
Why do you do this? Would you take vengeance on a blind woman?
Shillard said they've got Triss. I have to free her before they put out her eyes too.
Going to the Nilfgaardian camp is suicide.
And leaving a friend is villainy.
Only I know how to break the spell that holds Saskia. Get me out of here. If I die, she'll remain forever spellbound.
Saskia will remain an enslaved monster through your wickedness. You deserve to die.
Even if you reach Triss, you will not free her.
Sure I will. I'll trade Shillard for her.
And what will Yorveth say when he learns you abandoned Saskia?
You worry about what he'll do to you. I doubt he'll see your blindness as sufficient punishment.
Do you think Marigold's innocent?
You have no right to judge her. Goodbye, Eilhart. Move your ass, Excellency.
This is preposterous. What do you aim to achieve?
I want to see Triss. How did you get in here?
Put that sword down.
Only after I cut your throat. The choice is yours.
I know of a tunnel.
Then you can be my guide.